Hi everybody, it's Victoria here from Smart Dental Compliance. Just first things first, if everybody can mute themselves just so we can all hear a little bit better. I know some of you might still be on the desk or might be in between patients, so that would be really good. We will start in a second. We've just got a few more people to let in to the chat. So let's just let some more people in and then we'll get ahead with things and start our webinar. So I can see we've got some new faces on here, which is great. If you are new and you don't use our system and you want a demo or need any information, just drop a little message in the chat and one of the team will get back to you. Can see some very familiar faces. A lot of you that have had your mock inspections recently. Everybody's been doing really, really well. So that's really good to see. We'll just let a few more people in and we shall start the webinar. Perfect. Hoping you can all see my screen and able to hear me. Again, if you can't, do send a little message in the chat and then we can fix any technical problems and we shall start. So today's webinar, it's all about the new changes with the CQC. So we'll go through the slides one by one, let you know of everything that's changing, and then hopefully just make you feel a little bit more confident and prepared for all the changes that we've got. Perfect. So, okay, so let me just move this out the way. So from January, the CQC are going to be changing the way in which they've been inspecting. And it's all going to be to do with the new single assessment framework. So up until now, the CQC have been monitoring, inspecting and rating practices. And they're going to be changing to a more flexible approach, which means there's going to be more ongoing assessments and your inspections are going to be proportionate to risk. So if you're unable to send your evidence to the CQC or answer any questions that they ask you, you're going to be higher risk, you're going to be up the top of the ladder and they're going to come and inspect you. So the idea is we're all really prepared. We've got all the evidence that we need. We can just ping it across to them. They're going to think, oh, this practice is doing a fantastic job, and they hopefully won't need to come and see you as frequently, at least. So up until now, we've mainly focused on key lines of inquiry. So I'm sure as well as you all know, that's included, is your practice safe, effective, caring, responsive, and well-led? What do the changes mean to us? So yes, we will still be looking at the key lines of inquiry, but they will be replaced with a set of topic areas and quality statements. So I'm just going to let a few more people into the room, so apologies for that. There we go. So yeah, so we're going to be changing to the quality statements or WE statements. You're probably wondering, what on earth are WE statements? Basically, they are commitments that providers need to live up to. You need to be able to show that you can deliver high quality, personal-centered care. And for example, under the safe domain, so with the key lines of inquiry, we always had safe. Now we have basically subheadings. So we want to know more about the learning culture, safe systems, safeguarding, safe environments. And we want to know, what does your practice do to ensure that you're meeting these requirements? I already mentioned the WE statements or quality statements before. And just to give you an example, when we talk about learning cultures here, what your practice needs to be able to do or ensure you're able to explain to the CQC, it will be, to give you an example, when it comes to learning cultures, you would say something along the lines of, we have a proactive and positive culture of safety based on openness and honesty. This way you're showing that your practice is living up to the WE statements and you're able to show exactly what they are. So we'll go on to the next slide. So what's going to be different? Well, up until now, we've just mainly had our CQC inspection, maybe every 2 years. On that day, the CQC come and we need to show them all of our evidence in one setting. Everybody panics, you've got all your folders out, or if you're using our system, you've logged in and you're showing them the evidence that you've got on our system. It's a bit of a panic. You need to get everything, make sure everything's up to date. Well, the way it's going to change is you'll now be more so drip feeding this information to the CQC. So they might do a monitoring call. I know quite a lot of you have been having monitoring calls recently. Alongside that, they will ask you some questions. So they might ask you about your infection control process. They'll want to know, do you do audits? Do you have the audits? They may then ask you to send those audits across to them so they can view them. Now, if all your audits are up to date and you've got all the information to hand and you can give that to them, that's going to look really great for you as a practice. If you don't have that information to hand, if you're unable to you might be able to answer all the questions. If you haven't got the evidence, that's when it's going to be a red flag and the CQC may put you at a higher risk and they might need to come and see you. So we've already touched upon the WE statements, and really the WE statements, they focus more on best practice, treating patients with compassion and dignity, improving outcomes and environmental sustainability. And sorry, just again, if we've got anybody that's not muted themselves, if you can mute just so everybody can hear, that would be great. Thank you. So yeah, when we talk about sustainability, so this might be a new one to some practices, we want to make sure that, well, things that it includes are going to be things like your clinical waste. Are you recycling? Now, on top of that, using a digital system is going to show that you're really looking after the environment. Think of all the paper that we're wasting, all the folders that you have in the cupboard. So when it comes to environmental sustainability, that's going to be a really key focus area that the CQC are going to be looking at. We've also got outcomes. So when we talk about improving outcomes, we're talking about reacting to any feedback that we've got. Yes, of course, but it could also come down to preventative dentistry. Does everybody in your team understand the Better Oral Health Toolkit? Things like this. So all your staff need to be clued up and you need to be making clear action plans that these key quality WE statement areas you're actually going to be following.
Size is about what, 10 inches a foot tall.
So I already gave you an example of the WE statements, one that I just gave you a moment ago, but here's one about safeguarding. So again, it's all about what you do as a practice, and you do use the word we, that's why it's called a WE statement. So we've got, we work with people to understand what being safe means to them. And we've got, we concentrate on improving people's lives whilst protecting them from harm. Now it's going to be, again, you can say we do this and we do that, but you have to have the evidence to back that up. Now the evidence categories that we've got here, these are going to be the main evidence categories and you must be following them. I would really say now it's going to be a bit of a quieter time. We're in December. We should really be focusing on these evidence categories and making sure that your evidence is top notch, because the better evidence you have and the better evidence you can share, the better.
Stop sharing the screen.
Perfect. So let's go back to the evidence page there. I'm just having a bit of a technical issue for a second. So evidence categories are going to be feedback from staff and leaders, feedback from partners, observation, process, and outcomes. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about each of the evidence categories. And then I know we've got a lot of our clients on the system at the moment. So what we'll do is we'll show you how you can easily manage the evidence, easily make sure you've got it there when they need it. And we are actually going to be implementing a really cool tool where you'll be able to actually directly send the evidence to the CQC. So let's take a look at some of the evidence categories in a bit more detail. So of course, they're going to want to know about people's experience of health and care at your practice and what you're doing. So that's going to be direct feedback to the CQC from patients. What you're going to want to be doing is you're going to want to treat every patient that comes into your practice as if they are the CQC, because now more than ever, the CQC are going to be making a lot of contact with the people that are using your services. So if you're treating everybody like they're the CQC, you really, really can't go wrong. They're going to want to see feedback from staff and leaders. They're going to want to see any compliments, concerns, and make sure they're being shared with the CQC. Staff surveys as well are going to be a big one. Let me just show you our system. So if I go on to the Smart Dental All-in-One, a lot of you will be familiar with the activity calendar here. Those of you that aren't, and if you do want a demo, like I said, just drop a little message and the team here will be happy to show you around. When I just mentioned a little while ago about getting feedback from patients. Now you can see my activity calendar here.
Sorry, can't see any of your screen.
Oh, let's have a look. Can you see my screen okay now?
No.
Are you able to see the screen now?
I can see your screen.
Perfect. Okay, right, we'll carry on. Technical team are on it. If there's any issues, just drop it in the chat and one of them will fix it, I'm sure. So we've got the activity calendar here and we've got our tasks that are due. Here in grey are all the tasks that I've completed this month. Any tasks that I haven't completed are not greyed out. Any mandatory tasks that I must be doing in order to be compliant are in red. They really stand out. I know they need to do them. Now, when we talk about the feedback from patients, here you can see I have reviewed my patient feedback. I have uploaded my questionnaire onto the system. I've then made a note of any action plans that I need to do. And one of the key things I needed to do was I needed to discuss it into our team meeting. So you can see my last team meeting is here. In the team meeting, we discussed everything that we needed to action. We discussed the feedback that we had from our patients and it's ready and it's all uploaded. Now, when I get the call from the CQC and they ask me, okay, great. So how do you get feedback from patients? What's your process? Where is the evidence? As you can see from my activity calendar, I've completed the task, but I'm going to want to send it to them. So what I would do is I'll go to my uploads. Now, everything in my uploads here are tasks that I've completed using the system. So here you can see all the policies that I've done, all the practice forms that I've completed. You've got any risk assessments that I've done. You've got practice audits here as well. So all my evidence is on the system. I've completed it via the system and it's ready just to ping across to the CQC. Like I mentioned, we are going to be adding in a really cool tool where we can just ping this directly to the CQC. So it's just going to make your life so much easier as well. Now imagine many of you are doing these tasks, but you might have many a folder. Now, when it comes to sending it, they're not going to want you to send it in the post. Like we've already mentioned, it's all about the environment these days. They're going to want you to email that across. Now, imagine the headache you're going to have having to scan all of those documents on, then send it across. It's just a nightmare. So we're just trying to make everybody's life easier by following this process and giving you just an easy kind of route that you can send things to the CQC. So when we go back to the other terms or evidence that they're going to want to see, a lot of it will be down to observation as well. When we talk about observation now, they are still going to do on-site visits. Of course they will. But like I said, it's going to be more proportionate to the risk that your practice holds. And again, like I said, those practices that are going to be high risk are those that are not doing their daily activities, that do not have the evidence in place, and that are not following really clear and easy processes and are able to send it to them in a timely manner. So if you're doing that, the chances of having an on-site visit will be reduced because the higher risk practices will be at the top of the ladder, shall we say. But they are still going to want to do on-site visits. As part of the observation as well, they will be checking in with your staff. So that means you need to make sure your staff are very, very happy. You're going to want to make sure you're doing your appraisals, you're getting your staff feedback. You should have all of these documents stored on your personal files. So again, with our system, as many of our users know, we have got the HR folder. Now on the HR folder, we've got a list of all of our staff. So here I've got my list of imaginary staff. This is the demo account. If we take a look at old Joe Blogs over here and we go to his details, we'll be able to see everything to do with this individual in the practice. So we'll see, have they done their training? Well, Joe's not done much of his training, so we need to delegate some of the CPD to him. Recruitment's fantastic. We've uploaded all of the documents that we needed. So we've got GDC registration, we've got the contract here, sign policies. Joe signed all the policies we've asked Joe to sign. The meeting that we just had that I showed you before, he's got the minutes here in the system. Now we've got additional documents. So here you should be putting your staff appraisals, any touch base kind of conversations that you're having, any personal development plan should all be on these folders ready to send to the CQC if they ask for them. Because if Joe says during that interview call, I am not happy, I have said to the practice on several occasions that they're making me work all day long, that I've told them that the infection control of the practice isn't good. They're going to want to see that these conversations are being had and that you're taking action. So that's kind of how we're using the system for that part as well. Now, when it comes to the outcomes, we're going to want to see that you're actually actively making changes where needed and that you're understanding what's important to the person. So that could be to do with your staff, that could be to do with your patients, making improvements in the practice, but also, like I mentioned before, improving oral health as well is going to be key to what we do. We're working in dentistry, of course, that's going to be one of the components. So we just want to make sure that everybody's trained up, understands how to answer any of these questions if they are asked when it comes to like the Better Oral Health Toolkit, and just making sure all your evidence is logged on the system that you are making improvements. Now, for those practices that aren't using a system like this, you should be keeping a log of any action plans that you're making. The great thing with our system is we've got the activity calendar, we've got plans ahead of things that we're doing. You should have a clear process of anything that's upcoming and anything you plan to do as well. And then the big one, so when it comes to processes, so let's take a look. Your processes are going to be super, super important. They're going to want to know, do you have all of your policies in place? Are all your procedures being followed? Are you doing your risk assessments? Are your complaints being handled and logged and handled well? Now, the easiest way to do this is by using a system similar to ours, because all of these, it's hard to keep up to date with all of these different processes and make sure that you're renewing them, reviewing them, that your staff have read them. So we made it, again, super, super easy for everybody to follow. So if we go back to our system, what you can see is we've got compliance templates. All of your risk assessments are here, ready for you to use. You've got all your practice audits that you need. Those audits will go into the activity calendar that I showed you before, and you'll know when they're due. You can complete them so easily by just clicking on the task that's due. An e-form will come up, you can complete it, submit it, and all your evidence is going to go onto your uploads, which you can then send to the CQC. So we're just trying to make things really streamlined and easy for yourselves. Some of the other processes that they'll want to see are the recruitment and training. I just showed you a snippet of what the recruitment folders look like, so you should know exactly what's in those folders as well. We did do a webinar recently where we showed you kind of a bit about what should be in your recruitment folders. We spoke about DBS checks. If you do want any of the recordings of previous webinars, do let us know. If there are any of these processes or policies that you're unsure of how to use and they're on the system, or you don't feel like you're using them properly or to their full potential, we are here. We can do training whenever you need. The idea is this is going to be rolled out in January, and we just want to make sure that everybody's ready just to kind of take on any new challenges with all of the processes. And then I've kind of showed you a little bit about how the system works, but when we talk about the new changes, I've got here, so some of the things that we should be expecting. So I've spoken a lot about the evidence that they're going to want to see. We know they will still be inspecting, but it'll be proportionate to risk. But other things that they're going to be doing, so you'll be drip feeding information to the CQC. That could be monthly calls. It could be 6 monthly calls. We don't know, because it's all, again, dependent on how much of a risk your practice poses. So you'll be drip feeding all your evidence to them, and they'll be building a picture of what your service is like. Now, by doing this, it could actually change your rating or inspection report that the CQC have on file. So you should really be conscious of the fact that anything you're sending them, they're building a much bigger picture because you're drip feeding all this information, and that's how they're working out what sort of service you're providing and is it safe, effective, caring and well led. There's going to be less boots through the door. So inspections will be, again, a little less frequent, but again, if you've not got all of this evidence, they could be coming to you even more. We don't know. We do know with our clients, because we can see you're using the system, you're using it really well. We can see with your compliance dashboard how well you're doing. A lot of you have had your mock inspections. We can see you're doing really great. For those practices that don't have a system in place, if you want a mock inspection just to see where you're at, what you should be doing, our clients as well, if you haven't made full use of the mock inspections, please do reach out to us. That, like we've already mentioned, they're going to want to see a wider range of evidence from a variety of people. So that's going to include your patients, it's going to include NHS England, any complaints that you're getting, your referral process. Every time you're writing a referral, are the referrals not in line with how they should be? You need to be looking at the broader picture, because they're going to be getting evidence from any kind of partners or people that work alongside you. What have we got here? So we've got, they will be responsive and act accordingly to evidence. We've already touched a lot upon that part. And all I can really stress is that you should be sharing really good quality evidence. The better your evidence, the more logs, the more training and recruitment is like on tip top, the less they're going to be looking into your practice. So I would really, really urge all practices just to get on top of things, make sure you've got all your evidence, make sure your staff are happy, make sure your patients are walking out with big smiles on their faces, make sure that they feel like they're heard and listened to, because these are the main focuses that the CQC are going to want to see. So what should we do now? So here are the important things that the CQC are going to be looking at. So they're going to be really, really looking into your infection control. So when was the last time you did your infection control policy? What have you been doing it every 6 months? Were there any action plans that you didn't action? Have you taken action? So these are the type of things that you really need to be looking at. Your staff well-being, I've already touched upon that. Make sure your staff are happy. Continuous improvement. So are you continuously making improvements? Do you have something like would you be able to show evidence of future plans that you have to make improvement? Have you got evidence of improvements you've already made? So that's what we mean when we say, what should you do now? Other ways you can keep up to date is you can join our webinars. We do them every month. We've got blogs as well. And if you're a user of ours, you'll see that we sometimes send notifications out. So you should be, please do take a look at the notifications, because sometimes they are actually quite important, and you'll see any changes in guidance as well. Keep a record of what you're doing so you can share that with the CQC. So you might not have the evidence now, but you might have plans to get the evidence. Have a nice log of action plans and what you're planning to do. And as I've already mentioned a few times, treat everybody that comes into your practice, and I can't stress this enough, like they're the CQC. Make sure everybody's experience in your practice is fantastic, whether that's your staff, whether that's your patients. Everybody should be really happy and speak positively about your practice, because if they get bad feedback, they will be delving into all of your compliance, and they'll want to see a lot more, and they'll want to come and see your practice. On that note, we have Saba on the call, who's actually been doing quite a lot of inspections recently. So not just mock, she has been sitting in on inspections. She's got a lot of feedback. She knows what they're looking for. So she's going to take over, and she'll just enlighten you into what you should be expecting at an inspection.
Thank you so much, Victoria. That was very, very interesting and very insightful webinar. I mean, I don't know what you guys feel, hopefully a bit more confident in terms of the new CQC changes that would be coming. As I said, I've spoken to a lot of inspectors in the last 2 weeks, and it's not like a massive drastic change. Things will be a lot more similar. However, what they want to see is practice being digital, or having some sort of digital systems or softwares which would allow them to reach out to the information they require very quickly and on a regular basis, rather than them coming out, inspecting, going through your folders and checking what you guys have and what you don't have. So definitely 100%. I mean, now is the time to make a move. If you're not using the digital compliance system, I would highly recommend IOM, one of our systems. It is very easy to use. We do provide a lot of support to our clients as well. And we do sit in every single inspection our client has. Hence why I've been super busy, because it's the end of year. CQC are going out. They are inspecting a lot of practices, because generally they have a target that they need to meet by the end of the year. So in order to meet that target, they do go out to a lot of practices and start inspecting. Okay, but nothing to worry about, especially if you are our members. We do look after you really, really well. So if you do get a call from the CQC, or if you do get an email from them, make sure you reach out to us straight away. We will book a mock inspection for you, make sure your practice is fully compliant. Touch wood, so far, all the practices I've sat on, I have 100% pass rate. So none of the practices have failed their inspection. So you guys are in good hand, those of you who are currently using our system, and we would look after you really well. But what I really want to share today is all the inspections that I've sat on. I'm going to share some tips and some of the things that they do really dig down or dig deep into and have a look at. Luckily, apart from the one practice I sat at an inspection, all the other practices do use our IOM system. So everything was really well organized, and they absolutely loved it when they saw it was a digital system with all the audits there, all the risk assessment, especially our practice policies. She highly praised our practice policies, the fact that they have got the practice protocol box on there. So if you go to our practice policies, by the way, we have got new policies coming out by the end of December, which are a lot more user-friendly, because one of the things that I was fed back from a lot of our clients, and again, we listen and we implement. That's the good thing about us. Our clients give us feedback, and we jump on that feedback and liaise with our development team to make your life a lot more easier. So one of the feedback that was given is maybe having a bit more shorter policies. So what we've done is we've made our policies very concise, and they're very easily readable now. And we've still got the practice protocol box, which you guys will be able to see. So please, a lot of the time we get clients saying, can you fill out our practice policies? The system already customized the practice policies for you, but there's a practice protocol box. So let me just quickly share my screen. Actually, I need to be a host in order to share my screen, so I would just wait for that to happen. So under each policy, we have a practice protocol box, and we already tell you what those protocols are. So for example, if I go to my compliance templates, so what you are seeing right now, guys, this is our latest version of the IOM system coming out very soon. And I'm so excited to launch this. So from January onwards, you will have a view of what I've got a view of right now. So if we go to our practice policy folder, the version 2.2 are our latest policies. And again, what we've done is, which the CQC says, there's 128 policies usually, but they're not mandatory, okay? So what they want to look at is mandatory policies. So a lot of compliance companies provide you with so many policies, but what we do, which is really different, is we will tell you what is mandatory and we will tell you what is recommended. So for example, if we have a look at our first policy, which is the accident and incident policy, here it is. We've got a practice protocol box right over here. And all you need to do as a manager, and I will highly recommend this to all the managers out there who use our system, is please make sure you fill out your practice protocol box, because that's something that we can't do being a compliance provider and a compliance consultant unless we're physically coming into your practice and having a look at all your practice protocols. Okay, so make sure you take out, you don't have to do all the policies, it's just the mandatory policies. Make sure you are filling out your practice protocols, because the CQC do read them. Okay, they go through the policies and they go, well, how is it customized to your practice? That's what she asked. That was the first question. And I said, well, these are the practice protocols that the practice has added. And she said, 5-star, no problem. Thank you so much. The next thing they were looking at is hepatitis B. So your immunization records for your staff members. So your immunization records for your staff members, they wanted to look at the blood count. So it had to be like over 100, the antibody levels. So that's something that they did make a lot of the practice managers open their immunization reports and have a look for the staff members. Okay. The second most important tip, I got told that she actually ceased one of the practices for 3 months just because his fire risk assessment report was inadequate and the 5-year electric wire testing report was inadequate. So she said on that basis, Saba, I had to cease the practice. So these risk assessments are extremely, extremely important, guys, especially your fire risk assessment. I spoke to a practice manager this morning. I was doing a mock inspection with her online, and she said, we usually do that internally. So what their theory is behind that is, if you are doing a fire risk assessment internally, as long as your manager has gone on a fire course, so for example, in a fire college for about 3 to 5 days, she's not competent to do that fire risk assessment report. So they do ask for a lot of evidence that if reports are being, or risk assessments such as fire and Legionella are being carried out in-house, there has to be some sort of qualification for that person to carry it out. So I always recommend practices, don't risk it. Fire risk assessment is something that we provide as part of Smart Dental Compliance packages, as well as individually. Book it in, and at least you've got that peace of mind.
That's not better.
The next thing is action plans. So if you have had any risk assessments, if you have had any inspections for your equipment or anything of that sort, and the engineers have provided you with the action plan, make sure you action those action plans, because again, they wouldn't go through the whole report. They will go through your action plans and make sure those action plans have been actioned. Okay, so that's the second tip.
Go on a 3-day course.
Really?
Okay, so the next tip that I want to give you is expired consumables. Okay, believe it or not, I still go into practices to do mock inspection, and I see at least 1 or 2 expired syringes or some sort of expired stock. So please make sure that you get your nurses, again, on our system, on the activity calendar. What you can do is set a reminder on there and delegate it to your nurses to make sure that they have checked for expired stock or expired consumable within the drawer. So if I say check stock, for example, or expiry date, okay, and then I can set a due date. So I'm going to set a due date. So every Friday, maybe once a month, you can do once a week, once a month, whatever you feel comfortable. So you can make a task, and you can even delegate it to the nurse. So if you've got, let's say I'm going to delegate it to Sophia. So I'm going to put a question here. Have you checked all the drawers for expired consumable? Okay, so that's something I can't spell right now. I haven't had my lunch, so that's why. So have you checked all your drawers for expired consumables?
Oh, yeah.
And then you can create reminders like that, and you can delegate these reminders to your nurses, to your, anyone you want to delegate these reminders to, okay? So make sure expired consumables is a big one right now that CQC are picking up on. So make sure you are doing that regularly. The next thing, so here it is, you can see it's on my activity calendar, check stock for expiry date, instantly create a reminder. The next tip I want to give you is recruitment files. So one of the things that they are really hot about is recruitment files. So you need to make sure that, again, if you are using the IOM system, guys, we have made the system, I can't emphasize this, as much as I want to, but the system is super, super easy to use. And what you really need to do is make sure that you get your staff to buy into it. Say to them at the time of when you are recruiting a staff member, at the time of induction, or at the time of interview, or when you are having the one-to-one conversation, make it, practice managers, this is an advice from me to you, make it your mission to talk to them. Have you logged onto the software? Have you uploaded your documents onto the software? So for example, if I show you the folders, so these are all the staff members that you can see on the system, and every single staff member, when you can add them on the system, they would have their own login and they would have their own password. And then when you log in, they will see only their profile. So this is like, for example, Anna's profile. If I go into the training, she needs to do all her CPD certificates again, which she can do on the all-in-one management system and upload them on here. Because what the system then allows you to do is very quickly generate a report, send it off to the CQC that your recruitment files are up to date, your training files are up to date. Generally, again, one of the inspectors I spoke to, she said, I was at a practice, Sabah, 4 hours, I had to go through their recruitment and training files, and it was so frustrating because they had paper folders. So I had to go through every single document, and they had 48 staff members. So already, you know, you can imagine the CQC inspector is frustrated and really angry that, wow, you know, literally so many files. So what we want to do is make their life easy. So they get into our practices, look at things and go out very quickly. That's what we want to do. We want to make their life super easy. And this is why the ION system works really, really well, because we have thought about all the inspections. We have thought about what the CQC want to see, and we've implemented that onto the system. So recruitment files and training files for all staff members are a big one with the CQC. And last but not least, I'm going to touch upon radiation folder. So a lot of people have this question about the radiation folder. So what should be included, or what do the CQC, please can somebody, can everyone mute their mics? I'm getting other people just sending us a message saying, please mute your mics. So with the radiation folder, there's a big confusion around that, and I want to clear it up today with all my lovely members. So there's 3 tests, or there's 3 reports that the CQC ask for, okay? Number 1, they ask for critical examination report for your X-ray equipment. So critical examination report is given to you by the radiation protection advisor when they come, or the company who's providing you with the X-rays. When they come in, they install the unit, they will give you a critical examination report, okay? So that's the first thing that the CQC would look at. Now, a lot of people are confused. They think they have to get this done every 3 years. No, critical examination is only done once at the time of installation. The second thing that they look at, or the documentation regarding radiation, is the 3-year service. So your X-ray machines, I don't know if you guys are getting them serviced annually or 3 years or 2 years, but they look at the 3-year service report, okay? So that's the second document they're going to look at. The last and final document they look at is a performance test report that needs to be done on an annual basis. Performance test is very quick. They come in, they check everything is working, and off they go. What some of the radiation companies are doing is they're booking critical examination every 3 years. They're charging an arm and a leg to the client, and the client thinks that, oh yes, this needs to be done. I'm telling you from a CQC point of view, I'm not a qualified radiation protection advisor or supervisor, but I'm telling you what the CQC, or what I've seen that the CQC have requested and asked for, okay? So these are the 3 things that you need to be aware of: critical exam, radiation service test report, and then the performance annual test report. So please, 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 whoever your radiation companies are, please get in touch with them. Make sure you have all the documents, because again, that is one point that the CQC did point out to the practice, saying, you know, you need to make sure that your radiation file is in order, okay? Again, we provide the radiation protection service. If you don't have a radiation protection service and that's something that you are looking for, get in touch with one of our team members. We do provide that service for you know, our clients or new clients as well. So these are my 5 top tips that I've shared with you guys in my recent CQC inspections that I have actually seen, and what the CQC are pointing out. They are looking into practices quite heavily. They are closing down practices, which is quite strange, because in my last 5 years of, you know, very heavily being involved in CQC inspections, they've said that this year they've closed more practices than ever. And I think obviously it's because of COVID and all these kind of, you know, constant regulations that are changing. That's why they are looking, and when they are coming out, they're making sure things are done properly, because the last 2 years they've been doing everything over Zoom. So I think that's why now they are a bit more serious and are closing down practices if they are adequate. Okay, so these are my 5 top tips. So please make sure, again, if you are using our software, please try to use the software to its maximum ability. We've got CPD courses on here. We've got HR management. Get your team to log into it frequently, upload all their documentations, complete their CPDs as well. Alongside with the software, we do offer mock inspections, so annual mock inspections. Victoria and myself, we've been doing a lot of mock inspections on Zoom with the practices, and they have found it very, very helpful. If you do want to do it yourself, if you go onto the reports tab and underneath the reports, you will see it says report and issue. Not report and issue, my bad. Mock inspection. If you go to mock inspection and my mock inspection, you will be able to do a mock inspection yourself. So if I go mock inspection form, here's all the mock inspections that I've sat on. When we come back, we sit with our quality assurance team and our development team. I give them all the questions that a CQC are asking, and they add it to the mock inspection. You can do this anytime. Once you've done the inspection, it actually gives you a percentage and a score based on the 5 key lines of inquiry. So please, if you haven't got time to book a mock inspection with us, sit down. It will maximum take an hour. Do the mock inspection yourself. Have a look, because that will give you a good idea of what's missing, what you need to do, what you're not doing, what's the interval of each task as well. Okay, so one top tip that I'm giving you also, we are adding a lot of new features to the all-in-one management system based on our experiences at the inspection. So do look out for them. From January, we are introducing a brand new service for some of our clients who have highly requested it. So let me show you my screen. So a lot of the practices sometimes that we go into, they have got individual compliance consultants that are coming in to the practice to update all the audits and risk assessment, because practice managers are super busy and they're not getting time, and they call us and say, Saba, please can somebody just come in and just help me get compliant, even if it's like once every 6 months or twice a month or whatever it is that something? So we have introduced a brand new package called Smart Consult package, which will provide you with the IAM software, because we love the IAM software. We work alongside the IAM software or with the IAM software. But what we are doing, again, something that was highly recommended by our clients, we're providing 2 consultancy days. So if you look at your audits and risk assessments, 90% of the audits and risk assessments are required to be updated annually, okay? And your audits like cross-infection, antimicrobial, radiography, record keeping, hand hygiene are required to be updated 6 monthly. So what we are doing in this package, we are offering you guys 2 consultancy days where one of our qualified consultant will come into the practice and we will update all your audits and your risk assessment, apart from the fire risk assessment. So we will do that. We will also sit down and customize all your policies. We will go through all your logs that you are carrying out. We will check the medical emergency equipment. We will do a walk around of the practice. We will look at your reviews. So we work very closely with the practice manager to make sure everything is updated. So this is a new package that we are introducing from January 2023, where we're going into the practices and offering them 2 consultancy days as part of the IAM software. So again, this will all be live on our brand new website, which will be launched in January, and you can see and compare what type of services that you would like to go for. And as I tell all my clients and all my new clients, we are a very intimate company. We like to work very, very closely with our clients, whether you have an inspection or whether you would just like a call or some training. We are always available for you. You can give us a call, email us, WhatsApp us. So nobody WhatsApps us. We've got WhatsApp icon over here. So please feel free to WhatsApp us, give us a call, chat to us live if you need any help, any training with the software, because we want people to use the software to its full potential, because only then you will see the benefit. If you're partly using the compliance activity calendar, but not using the HR, it does become very difficult. So this is why we introduce all these packages to make sure that all our clients are happy and they know how to use the system to its full potential. Also, just a quick reminder, we do have monthly webinars. Our next webinar will either be in December or January. We're still trying to get some votes from all our clients to see if they would like one in December. But from next year, we will have 2 webinars a month. One will be all about the latest changes, and the other webinar will be all about using the IAM system, discussing the latest features, getting your feedback. We want to know what you think. We want to know what we can do to improve the IAM system for you guys to make your guys' life easier. So that's what we're all about. So that's the IAM system. Some very useful tips about the CQC inspection. Thank you so much for everyone who's joined the webinar. I hope you guys found it useful. I hope this was helpful. I know what's going to happen now. The phones are going to start ringing and everybody would want a training on the system. That's absolutely fine. We're here all day, every day. So you can give us a shout and we will book the training sessions for you. Thank you so much to Victoria, who shared some very, very important CQC changes coming up in January. So really, really looking forward to that. And thank you for all your support. We're here because of you, because you use our system, you provide us feedback, and we go out and we make your lives easier. That's what we're here for. And that's why we are here as well, all because of you guys. So thank you so much for supporting us and joining us today on our webinar. I wish you a lovely, lovely week, and I'll speak to you all very soon. Take care now. Bye.